Greetings, comrades. This is Tim, and I'm planning my next hard riding adventure on the Janus. And I wanted to share with you the adjustments to Garmin BaseCamp that I made to make the routing reflect the Janus's top speed. I'm planning, as soon as the travel restrictions subside a little bit, I'm planning the Iron Butt Association's ride around Texas. It's called the RAT. And it comes in two flavors. You can do it at 85 hours, or you can do the 3,100 miles in 70 hours for gold. Of course, I'm always going to shoot for the gold. And let me show you how I adjusted the speeds in Garmin BaseCamp to accommodate the Janus top speeds. As you can see, I've already got the RAT planned. I'm going to start here in Port Arthur and ride the ferry across to Galveston, all the way down here to South Padre Island, along the River Road, up to Big Bend, and up this way, go to El Paso and Anthony, and then across the mountains, all the way up to the two top corners in the Panhandle, back down, and finish in Port Arthur. I'm going to try to do that in 70 hours on the Janus, and Garmin BaseCamp, by adjusting the speeds, tells me whether I can do that or not. So, as you can see, you have riding profiles up here for various kinds of activities that you might use in Garmin BaseCamp. The normal one that I use for my BMW R1200 GS Adventure with unlimited speed and power, so to speak, is the driving profile. I don't use the motorcycle one because it routes kind of funky, and sometimes I just want to go the most direct route and the fastest route, and this is always taking you down back roads and the scenic roads. So I use the driving profile most of the time, but it uses, as a basis in Garmin BaseCamp, it uses 67 miles an hour on the big highways. And I'm not going to be able to sustain 67 miles an hour average, so I have to change that. So I've created the Janus profile, and I'll show you how you do that. You come over here to Edit, select Options, go to Activity Profiles, go to Routing, and this is where you can create your own. You can edit one that you've already created or have already on the list. You can delete any that you want from the list, and you can create them. I created one for Janus, and under the routing profile activity things, you check off the things that you don't want to have happen, or that you want to have happen, and you uncheck them if you don't want to do cable cars and things like that, as you can see. But under the customized speed, you click on that, and it has the 5 categories of roads that Garmin calculates speeds on, and you can adjust these up and down. Like I said earlier, Garmin has a default of 67 miles an hour on interstate highways, and I think their major highways are like 55, and other highways are like 45. Well, here in Texas, our other highways, which are 2-lane country roads, some of them are 75 miles an hour, and so it doesn't make any sense to plan a route along those roads and have it calculated at slower speed. So you can adjust them up. So I've done that for the Janus, and I've had to adjust them down. It's pretty cool and works quite effectively, as you can see from this route that I planned for the ride around Texas. It's a clockwise route. And let me pull that over here so you can see all of that. And let me reposition that. You can see I'm starting in Port Arthur, and Garmin calculates using the Janus profile that it's going to take me a total of 68 hours and 34 minutes, and that includes all of my layover times at each one of the routing segments for various reasons. Like this one here for 40 minutes. For the Bolivar ferry, you go from Port Bolivar to Galveston. It's a free ferry. It runs every half hour. And It takes about a half hour. So I got about a 10-minute wait in line and then about a half-hour ride. So I get to Galveston. I stop for a dated business receipt. Victoria, I'll probably have to get gas. My rest stops, the first one is at Sanderson. That's out here in this area right here. So I'm going to go all the way down to here and then up to here. And that's going to be my first rest stop. And as you can see, it's calculating that I arrived there a little bit after 11 in the evening. Now, the schedule is not something that I am forced to keep. It just lets me know whether I'm on pace or not. So my pace is 68 hours to do the whole thing. And if I get to Sanderson around 11 o'clock, I know that I'm pretty much on pace. I'm going to spend 5 hours there, get up the next morning and ride to Big Bend, all the way around to Anthony. And then my next rest stop is going to be at the Days Inn in Vega. That's way up here in the Panhandle. I'm going to spend another 5 hours there and then get up then early the next morning, get to the Two Corners, and then back down here before midnight. As you can see, it's plotted that time all the way out. Now I'm going to have to stop at each one of the mandatory places and either take a picture or get a dated business receipt. As you can see, I've planned some of them as 7 minutes and some of them, like the picture ones here, are at 3 minutes. It may take me longer than 7 minutes, may take me less than 7 minutes. It's been my experience that I can get in and get out in under 5 minutes for just gas. And if I need to buy anything, it might take a couple more minutes. So I planned on 7 minutes, and it's usually worked out good for me. This 68 hours here, you can see if I change back to the driving profile, it will recalculate the entire route based on the driving profile. And you can see that both of these, the moving time and the total time, will change. And for the Janus, it's going to be slower and it's going to take more time. And as you can see, the moving time went from 50 some hours down to 47, and the total time, including all of the layover times that you see here, went down from 68 to 59 hours. This speed adjustment for an activity profile works really well, and it allows you to customize your routing for various kinds of activities that you do, or in this case, different motorcycle capabilities. So once again, I've put in the links how you can change those on the title page. But here it is again. You go to Garmin BaseCamp, go to Edit, Options, Routing under Activity Profiles, and then down here you got Customized Speeds. That's it. Hope it's helpful for you folks in the Janus riding community that are starting to get into long distance riding. For most everybody else that might see this video that are in the long distance riding community, this is probably old news. Okay, well, thank you very much, and wash your hands.